Hi, I'm Jessica Rhymes, and this is Rhymes Reimagine, where I will teach you all the possibilities of thrifting and DIYing. Today, I'm working on Christmas decorating. This is definitely one of my favorite times of the year. I get to pull out all my pretty Christmas decorations. I actually started with the tree, so you might be seeing this in a little bit of a reverse because I want to save that for last. So I'm going to decorate my stairwell. I have a big, beautiful banister at the top of my stairwell, and I also have this pretty railing. I'm almost finished, but I wanted to kind of give you an overview of what I've done and show you the steps that I take to create this beautiful garland that goes up and down my stairwell. So to do that, I'm actually going to use some of those thrifted rose gold ornaments that I showed in the thrift haul. And I'm also using some large, these are also shatterproof, some large shatterproof just ornaments. I only have 5 of these. These are actually mercury glass too, like the other ornaments that I showed in the thrift haul. I actually put those at different points of the garland on the banister. So I'm gonna use that. And then I also have some little icicles that I haven't added yet, but I will add towards the end. And then I also have plenty of little silver balls that are mixing really well with the rose gold. So I like to kind of make everything a little cohesive in terms of my decoration. So I included the rose gold ornaments in my living room. So I'm going to incorporate them in my stairwell too, so everything kind of flows together. So I'm gonna start by showing you, oh, and I also used a silver ribbon. Just this glittery silver ribbon that I already had. Again, I'm trying to use what I have because I have plenty of things that I can incorporate. So I'm gonna start by actually weaving the ribbon in. I weaved it in on the part that I already decorated down there, but I'm gonna show you how I weaved that in, and then I'll show you how I added the ornaments. You're getting a little sneak peek of how it's looking so far. I stopped right here at the top of the banister so I can show you kind of the process from start to finish. So to weave the ribbon in, I actually just take it up and down. I leave it rolled the entire time. It makes it really easy to pull it up through the banister, the side of the banister. And then I'm just tucking it underneath the greenery. It's really just underneath, but I like to weave it kind of throughout. It's a little difficult to do this with one hand, but you're getting the idea. So I'm gonna do that all the way to the top, and then I will show you how I put the ornaments on. Now I'm going to start adding the ornaments. I'm gonna start with, I started with, after I did the ribbons, I put on the largest ornaments. I attach these directly to the banister and not to the garland, just because they're kind of heavy. And to do that, I'm using, it's just a cotton string. It's white, so it matches, it'll blend in with the wall and kind of makes it look like the ornaments are kind of floating. So I just used the cotton string, if I can pull it through correctly. I just used the cotton string to attach it directly to the, I'm not doing well with this talking and stringing this thing through. Okay, so I got it strung through, and then I just attach it to the, there's on banisters, there's little, I don't know what you would call them, but the little metal part that attaches to the wall, that's actually what I attached 3 of them to, and then the other ones I attached directly to the banister because I used 5 of them and I only have 3 of the metal pieces, whatever they're called. So I just tied it right on, just in a knot. And I guess you could add it to the garland. And then I cut the excess string. So I didn't know how long I wanted to make it initially. But I just make sure that it's to the height that I want, and then I'll just tighten the knot. and then cut the excess. Then I will add the rose gold ornaments. I've been adding those first, making sure that they're in the place where I like them, and then I go back and add the silver. My technique for adding ornaments to things like garland and something like this on a banister is really just, I guess you would call it like a weaving motion with certain ornaments. So the rose gold, I weave them like on one side, then I weave it down, then I weave it back up, then I weave it down, then I weave it back up, just so that it's kind of scattered throughout. And then I go in and put the silver ornaments, and then I kind of work with the largest ornaments first and then work my way down in size. That's usually the easiest way to do it, because then you can use the small ones to fill in where you have any gaps. So I'll go ahead and add the rose gold ones. Stick a hook on it. And then I'm gonna start up here. I think that's a good place. It's just wherever you think it'll look good. And then you can always take them off and rearrange. I know I take off and rearrange several times. It's to your preference. So you can add them where you want, remove them, change them, do it however you want to. And I've been using about 2 to 3 in each section. So again, I take a look, assess, and then I place the ornament. And then I'm also trying to take stock of what I have left, because I want to use some at the top as well. And I actually think I'm going to move this down and move the other one down as well, because I have 5 left and I want to use 5 on my top banister as well. So I think I'm going to move this one down just a teeny. So yeah, so see how I did that? So I have 1 on this side, and then I go up, and then I come back down. So I do the same thing with the silver ones. So I'm gonna add those in, and then I'll come back and show you kind of how I place the small ornaments and the icicles. Now I'm gonna add the icicles and I have these tiny little ornaments. I'm gonna add those. I just put the little tiny silver ones any place where I felt like there was just a little hole or a little gap. And then the icicles, I add those only from the bottom side, so like underneath. But I make sure again to kind of put it in and out, because it adds a lot of depth and dimension to the garland. And the good thing about the fake garland is it's wired, so it's easy to move, pretty malleable, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So this one I'm gonna put towards, closer to me, towards the inside, and then the other side I'm gonna put one towards the wall. So this one I think I'm gonna put more towards the wall. So basically I'm just gonna go in and out, and keep adding ornaments anywhere where I see there's a hole. So again, I'm just gonna find a spot. I have plenty of these, so I'm gonna find a spot to put it. I think this one should come out a little more. So again, it's just in and out, hanging. And this is a little more glitzy than I would have liked, but again, I wanted to work with what I had. So this may be to some of your taste more than some of my other Christmas decorations. So let me know in the comments how you would kind of describe your Christmas decorating techniques. Okay, I'm liking how that's looking. Again, adding some more of the little silver balls anywhere where I think is just not enough of the ornaments. Okay, and this is hard to do with one hand, so maybe Santa will bring me a tripod and a ring light for Christmas. Here's to hoping. So I'm just gonna keep adding these, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. Here's the finished product. As you can see, there's ornaments scattered all throughout. Icicles hanging towards the wall and towards the inside of the stairs. And then I actually put this large vase at the top of the stairs with some sparkly branches, and then going up. Here's the one, don't mind my creaky stairs, my garland at the top of the stairs. Did the same thing. I just didn't add the icicle ornaments. I feel like the railing already has like those long elements, and I didn't think that the icicles were really necessary up here, but I used the same ornaments, the other ornaments up here as well. I love it. I feel like I'm entering like a bougie luxe hotel when I come home from work. All the sparkly and the glittery stuff, so I really like it, and I think it works really well with my wreath on the door, just right here. These are all of the things that I have available to me to decorate my surfaces. My surfaces include my mantle, my coffee table, and the dresser in the dining room. If you watched my thrift haul video, some of these items may look familiar. I just kind of reviewed everything, and I think only about 5 things on this table were actually purchased from like a retail store. So most of it, basically almost all of it is thrifted. So I'll just go over which items I'm going to use. I like to lay them out like this to give me a good visual sense of what I have, and then pull from here to actually start placing things on some of the surfaces. So I'm just gonna start over here. I have these 2 chargers and this white, I guess that would be considered something like a charger too. It's really beautiful. This is a gift from my aunt several years ago. These are something that I would use for like the base. Like I would start with this and then start adding pieces to it. I also have this piece of burlap that I may use again, so I can incorporate some natural materials with some of the other materials that I have. Then I have these. These are actually some ornament hooks. So I do have some leftover ornaments that didn't make it onto my tree that I may want to display, so I can use those ornament hooks and put them on a surface to display them. And then those candle holders will look familiar for my thrift haul. I have those 2 vases back there. I think they'll look well with my white, my clear Christmas trees. I may put those on my mantle. And then I just have from Joann's, I have some leftover greenery that I used from my dining room decorations. And then I also have that swag in the back that I may use on a surface. The 2 thrifted Christmas trees. There's 1 white Christmas tree. Have some leftover pine cones and the candles that I may use. Another vase that I may use to put a candle in. That angel actually came, I bought those with the bells that I used to put on, the wooden bells that I used on my garland on my mantle. I may put her up. She stands up, so I may put that up as well. I have that golden lantern in the back. I think I got that from Menards. That was my few retail purchases. And then the candles. I also have that tree that I'll probably use somewhere, that tree basket. Another vase with some eucalyptus. By now you probably know that I love eucalyptus, so that is gonna make its way on some of my surfaces as well. And then I also have some bells inside of the lantern that I may use someplace else. I might not necessarily use all of these items. I may use other items. I just start playing with it until I get things to the way that I like it. I don't have any like rhyme or reason to how I'll decorate with it. I just put things up, switch them out until it gets to where I like it. So I'm gonna start playing around with some of the items. Okay, I am all done. So on this side, I just put my favorite dried eucalyptus and one of my favorite candles for every day. It's actually not a Christmas candle. I like the height of that candle better than the Christmas candle that I have. And then on the other side, I wanted to put a candle on this side, but that just, I would never light it because I'm not gonna light a candle next to the tree. So I put my thrifted Christmas tree wicker basket in the back, and then my thrifted glass tree on this side and the other side. And then I just put this wooden angel that I got from the Waste Shed secondhand craft store. I think it looks good. I just typically just play around until I get it to the way that I like it. All together with my Christmas wall feature. If you didn't check out my Christmas DIYs, I'll link that playlist below. On this side, I always have this lamp and those books there. The books are actually drawers. That's kind of where I put my keys and stuff when I come in the house, so I always have that there. And then in the center, I added this swag. I was hoping to fill this area with brass candlesticks, but unfortunately, I could not find enough, so I put this swag in the center and I just put in my thrifted bells and pine cones. And then on this side, I have my one brass candlestick holder with the taper candle in the back that I thrifted, and then my Christmas tree brass candlestick holder in the front, which is also thrifted, and I put my Christmas tree smelling candle in there. And then I have my thrifted vase with some of that faux greenery from Joann's. And it's just sitting on top of a charger. I wanted to just put the Believe charger down, but it matched the runner too much. So I put the woven runner underneath it just to add some more texture and dimension to the Believe charger. I think that, and this is just a runner that I think I got from Kohl's on clearance a long time ago. It's probably kind of summery, but I think that it goes well. I tried to buy a runner from Home Goods, but it was a long line and it was a little too expensive for my taste. I mean, it was only $16.99, but I'm only going to use it once for Christmas, so I just opted to use what I had. I think runners and chargers keep things grounded, things that wouldn't have otherwise looked well together if they were just sitting on top of something. Runners and chargers kind of group them. I like it. I think it works. Not entirely in love with my coffee table decor, but this is what I have so far. I'm probably gonna keep playing with it a little bit more. I was trying to incorporate that small vase because I may get some real greenery the closer we get to the holiday. But for now, I think I'm just gonna leave it like this without the vase. I put the burlap again to ground the lantern with the charger and the other pieces that I incorporated. I do like to have like a grounding element. They look displaced if you don't have something pulling them both together. So I don't love the burlap. It's just something that I had that I could add quickly. Like I said, I'll probably keep playing with it, change it around a little bit, but it's gonna stay like this for now. This is a 7-foot pre-lit tree. I already put it together. Wasn't gonna bore you with the putting of a fake tree together. I got this from Menards after Christmas last year. I think I paid about $80 for it. which I'm not even sure if that's a good price, but I thought it was a good price, so I went for it. So I actually made this garland. It's a wood bead garland. It's a natural raw wood beads. I got these from Amazon. I will link them below for you. I made one that was 10 feet long because I originally intended on putting this on the mantle, but I didn't like the way the raw wood looked with the wood tones of the mantle, so I decided to put it on the tree instead. And then I made another one, I think that's 8 feet long, and I think that should be enough for my tree. And I'm gonna put the garland on first. I think the garland really helps to put all the ornaments together to make it a cohesive feel. And I think it makes it a little easier to decorate the tree with the garland already on, so you can get a feel for how it's gonna look in the end. So basically what I'm gonna do with the garland, I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way up. I just put a little ornament hook on the end. I made a little loop in the garland at the end, and then I just hooked the ornament hook on there so I can hook it directly to the tree. And the pattern that I did for the garland, I basically started with the smallest one. I put 3 of them on because there were more of them, and then I worked my way up to the largest size, and then I went down and just repeated that pattern all the way across. So what I'm going to do is hook this to the back side of the tree. So I'll hook this on, and then basically you're just going to weave it kind of in and out. I don't know why I did it this way, but in and out, finding some place to drape it, and then find some place to tuck it in inside the tree closer to the center, and then kind of loop it around, and then find another place to go in, and basically just repeat that motion all the way across. So how I decorate my tree with ornaments after I did the garland, so it's woven in and out, I'm going to add some of my thrifted ornament balls plus some silver ornaments that I think will go well with it, and some other gold shatterproof ornaments that I'll include with them as well. And then I found 2 boxes. I bought these last year after Christmas of some rosy gold ornaments that I'm gonna include with it too. And I also always try to include some of my sentimental ornaments. I will include those more towards the top or on the inside so that the dog can't get to them. She can only see about 1/3 of the tree. A lot of the tree is protected by some of the furniture and then the fireplace on that side. Some of the sentimental ornaments that I have come from my grandmother, who actually purchased an ornament for me every year from about the time I was about 9 till I was about 18. My brother and my cousins, we all got ornaments every single year, and I have kept them all. She gave them to us in the hopes that one day we would decorate with them in our own tree. So now is the time that I get to include all of those ornaments on my tree. I kept every single one of them, and I took very good care of them. One of them, just so you can get an idea, she got them every year, I think from Marshall Fields. Each year she would go and find one that was unique to who we were. So these are some ballet shoes that she got me. I used to dance, so the ornaments always spoke to who we were and what we did and things like that. So I love them, and they're precious, and I will include all of those all throughout the tree. And then some of my other sentimental ornaments include some of the angels. My mom had tons and tons of pretty black angels that she included in our tree when we were kids, and I remember putting these on the tree. This and many other ornaments that I have from my childhood tree. When my mom downsized and decided she wasn't going to have a tree anymore, I got to shop through all of her ornaments. So I will incorporate all of those ornaments on the tree as well. And then my last set of sentimental ornaments come from my former supervisor at my last job. His thing, every year he actually bought us an ornament, our team. It was a special thing that he did every year. He bought us the Tiffany & Co. annual Christmas ornament. It was a different ornament each year. This was the first one that I got in 2017. It actually says Tiffany & Co. 2017. It was stamped every year. It has the Tiffany blue hue in it. It's a crystal ornament. It's very beautiful. They're all very beautiful, very heavy. So I'll have to figure out where to safely put this on the tree, probably towards the top and maybe towards the inside too, because it's pretty large in comparison to some other ornaments. So shout out to my old boss who bought me 3 of these. I got 3 of these, all different, I think a couple different shapes, but they'll all be incorporated in my tree as well. And those are great ways to kind of give your tree character, so you're not just including like the box ornaments. The tree can be special to who you are and speak to who you are as a person or who you are as a family. And you can keep some traditional items, like the ornaments that I have from my childhood tree. Maybe you can get those passed down when your parents are ready to part with them as well, and you can incorporate them in your tree. My tree is done. It turned out beautiful. I put an angel at the top. This is a Capiz glass angel topper from Target. I got it at the end of Christmas last year. This is one of those traditions for my childhood tree. We always had an angel at the top. Then I have hope, which is definitely a virtue that's needed in a year like 2020. I had some leftover deco mesh from my garland DIY. Then you can see my wood bead garland that's kind of stuck in and out. Some of those thrifted rose gold ornaments. More thrifted ornaments. This is actually that star from my aunt. It was a hole, a big hole that I wanted to fill in right there. And big ornaments are great for filling in holes on a tree. See the deco mesh kind of woven in. And this is one of my favorites from my grandmother. She also gave me these brass keys. I don't know where she got them from. She gave them to me a long time ago and I was never really sure what to do with them. And I think they look great in the tree. There are 5 of them in 5 different sizes. Then this is an ornament that I actually DIY'd. It matches the macrame pattern that I did in the wreaths for my dining room. I made 3 that matched the pattern. I used those wooden rings, small wooden rings. They're like 2.5 inches. I got them from Amazon. And just one of those black angels. Some more brass keys. And then at the bottom, I actually thrifted a tablecloth. It's a cream colored tablecloth that I got last year. I was gonna cut this and make it into a true tree skirt, but I don't have a sewing machine and I didn't want to go through the trouble of trying to borrow one. And I saw another DIYer who actually draped a blanket around as a tree skirt, and I thought that was a great idea. And so I did that same thing with this. It's a rectangular tablecloth. I think it works perfectly. Eric really liked it. I really like it, and I think I'll just kind of always do something like this. It's a good idea, a good alternative to a true tree skirt. And here it is at night in 3, 2, 1. Finished product. To say that I'm obsessed with the tree would be a gross oversimplification for how I feel about it. I'm absolutely in love. I think it's beautiful. I do have some thoughts, my final thoughts on my first adult full-size and artificial tree. The first thing I would say is make sure to fluff. This tree could not just come out of the box and go up. It definitely required a lot of fluffing. in order to make sure that it looked full and less artificial. And then me personally, I know that after working with this tree that I would probably prefer a less full tree, a little more sparse. I think that having a fuller tree kind of takes away from the ornaments. It seems like the ornaments are more like guests on the tree as opposed to stars of the show. And I think having ornaments on a more sparse tree, they can really shine. So I think in the future, if I were to get another full-size artificial tree, I would definitely go for a more sparse tree. And I think that's more of what we had when I was a kid, and I think that I would prefer that for my own trees in the future. I also wish that the tree was a little taller, but I know with height comes width, so I think that this is a good size. My ceilings are definitely higher. I could have gone much taller than a 7.5 foot tree, but I chose this tree because it's slim and it fits in my corner perfectly. But in the future, I'll keep that in mind if I were to buy another artificial tree. And then also when it comes to decorating, I definitely recommend putting some larger ornaments in to fill in some holes. There were some holes in the tree, and a good way to fill it is with things like larger ornaments that can go on the inside as opposed to having them on the outside branches. So that's something to keep in mind when decorating your own tree. The last thing that I would say is find ways to remember the traditions from your own childhood tree. That could be something as simple as incorporating some ornaments that you had from your childhood. Maybe ask your parents if they're ready to part with some. Or you could just find things in stores that remind you of the tree that you had when you were young, like I did with the angel. So think about ways to remember those traditions and incorporate them in your new traditions with your new tree. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and turning on the bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And join us next week. I will be working on some Christmas gift DIYs if you want to see how to make some quick and simple gifts last minute before the holidays. Tune into my video next week.